Welcome, Dan Lee, PTS Dan Lee. How we doing?
Great.
Excellent. So let's talk about eating versus dining. We've talked at times about living versus surviving, and it got me thinking in that way a little bit. We spend most of our time just eating, meaning we got to get through a meal, get on to the things we have. There's a lot of on our plate. And then we have those times where we can really dine and enjoy the experience more, et cetera. But it got me thinking a little bit about how salespeople create eating or dining experiences, both in the marketing side and then also in the selling side. And I don't know that they're always cognizant of it or in alignment with their audience. Meaning, are you trying to sell a dining experience to an audience that's really just focused on eating something and moving on? So maybe they're buying more of a product, something that's more of a commodity, and it's less about the experience versus someone that's really focused on the experience. So, Dan, why don't you kick us off more from a selling standpoint, a little bit on that comparison and alignment with your audience?
I always look at it, first, you got to figure out what outcome do you want. Start with the end in mind. Figure out this is the type of product or the service, or this is the experience that I want to have with my clients, my customers. So start with that and then reverse engineer. Go, okay, well, knowing that, here's where I go and walk my way backwards to how in the world do I sell that? How in the world do I get my customer to experience that? And then last, just keep it simple. Don't complex it. Make it intriguing. But here's the key to all of this. Allow the buyer to buy the way they want within your guardrails. So,
Yes.
for example, stupid analogy, but it makes the point. If I'm on the road and the speed limit's 55, I've got some guardrails. I can't just drive anywhere on that road, but I can go whatever speed I want, and I can go listening to whatever I want on the radio, and I could have whatever conversation I want. So allow your buyers to have certain parameters that they can mess with.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, they're still going where you want them to go.
Yeah. Lee, can you take us more to the marketing side a little bit and things to think about there?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of back to your eating versus dining. There was a point in my life where I needed to lose a significant amount of weight. And it really involved a very psychological shift in the way that I thought about food.
Mm.
It changed from becoming something that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the process of making the food and how it looked and all of that, to starting to think about food as energy, just as energy, as the thing that moved me on to my next goal. I think I've developed a much more healthy balance at this point, but I think when it comes to sort of your marketing materials, are you just putting vitamins on a plate or are you making it look beautiful? Um, and when I say that, I mean, are you doing business in a modern way, in a streamlined way? Does your marketing presence, does it support that? Does your website look modern and clean and fresh? If you're doing advertising, does it look like the same old boring ad of two men shaking hands
Mhm.
doing a deal? And I think that's the point where you need to start thinking about the experience and the feelings that you want your clients to evoke when they think of you and the experience of working with you.
Yeah, I had a regional person come through my office one year, and he asked me, he said to me, he said, "John, do you know what it's like for your clients and prospects to experience your office?" And I said, "Bill, I have no idea what you're talking about." In general, but he walked me through. He said, "You know what it's like to come in and be greeted by your receptionist, sit and the people that are walking back and forth, or if I want a cup of coffee, or what's it like as I go through an office experience, regardless of whose office I'm going into." And so I actually had a few people come through for me. I never really told anybody about what I was doing because I was just trying to learn. But they came in like they were a prospect and went through the experience, and they came back with kind of a page of notes on this is what happened, good, bad, and different. This is what happened. We changed a lot of things because of it. And so I get it. And Dan, your point, I use a bowling alley thing of either you've got the guardrails up because kids are bowling or you don't. And I'm with you. You want to keep it moving forward, but you got to stay within certain parameters to it as you go. So
John, just to add to that, a really good, if you want to experience somebody who is creating an experience for you and has really good skills in doing it, meet with a few ad agencies. Take some meetings with ad agencies. When you go into their space, it is a space that tells you exactly what they do. They create an experience for you, and they're all different,
Hmm.
but it's memorable. It's one of the most memorable experiences I've had in my professional career is interviewing agencies.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've seen a ton of selling environments. Is there anything where you think back, you say, well, this was kind of a little crazy, or this was a really good experience I had going through their process and their system, or anything that really jumps out at you like that?
The ones that jump out the most to me are the ones that match the owner's culture that they're trying to set.
Ah,
The ones where they're just trying to be cookie cutter, look like everyone else, mundane, you forget about them.
yep. Yep. So, all right, everybody. Good stuff. See you again tomorrow.
Take care.